Welcome to the deep dive. If you're using a MacBook, you definitely know that little black cutout right at the top of the screen.
The notch.
The notch, exactly. It's where your camera lives, your sensors. But for most people, it's just kind of there.
Yeah, just this fixed thing. Sometimes feels like wasted space, right? Or it breaks up the screen.
Totally. It can feel like dead space. But what if that little notch could actually do something? Something useful, even dynamic.
Turning it from just a cutout into like an active part of the interface?
That is exactly what we are diving into today. We're looking at some really innovative apps that take the MacBook notch and make it into a sort of dynamic island.
Packed with controls, widgets, maybe notifications, bringing it to life.
Yeah. So our mission here is to compare three of the big ones: Nook, DynamicLake, and Alcove. We've gone through the research to pull out the key stuff for you.
Help you figure out which one, if any, might actually fit how you work or just what you like the look of. It's a pretty cool design story, really. It started as just, a hardware necessity, a place to put things.
Right.
But people had opinions. And these apps, they represent a shift. It's not just about putting up with the notch. It's about taking that space back, optimizing it. So for you listening, the idea is you can quickly get a sense of these tools.
What makes them different?
Yeah, and how they might actually, boost your productivity or just make your Mac feel a bit more yours, turning that limitation into something genuinely interactive.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the first app, Nook.
Okay.
The big thing that jumps out about Nook seems to be customization, like deep customization.
That's absolutely its angle. If you're the kind of person who loves to tweak everything, get your setup just so. Nook is definitely calling your name.
So what does that actually mean in practice? What can it do in the notch?
Well, it really turns it into a kind of hub. You can get, media controls right there.
Oh, nice. Play pause.
Exactly. Skip tracks without leaving your main window. It also has this drag and drop file tray feature.
A file tray in the notch.
Yeah. Sounds weird, but apparently super handy for quick file moves between apps or desktops, sort of streamlines things.
Interesting. What up?
And then widgets, like mini apps, calendars, maybe a webcam mirror.
A webcam mirror, so you can check your hair before a call.
Precisely. It's all about making that space work specifically for you, down to the little details.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of options.
Yeah.
You mentioned deep customization. Can you really tweak how it looks and feels?
Oh, yeah. The sources really highlight that. You can change the size of the elements, the transparency, even how the features open up or activate.
Does that make it complicated to use? Is there a steep learning curve?
That's a fair question. For the real power users who want to unlock everything, yeah, there's probably a bit of a curve. But the idea is you don't have to use all of it.
We can start simple.
Exactly. Start simple, explore more later if you want. It really signals who this is for, people who value that granular control.
Gotcha. And what about the cost for this level of control?
Right. So Nook is either a one-time purchase of $25 or you can do a $3 monthly subscription.
Okay, so a bit more premium pricing.
Reflects its target audience, I think. The research pegs it as ideal for those heavy customizers, the power users wanting to fine-tune everything, really sculpt their setup.
Okay, that makes sense for Nook, deep control. But what if you're less about endless tweaking and more about just getting a ton of features?
Right. Then probably look at the next one, DynamicLake. This one takes a different tack.
Yeah, the notes say this is where it gets really interesting if you just want sheer functionality.
It's described as a Swiss Army knife for the notch. And honestly, it kind of lives up to that. It tries to pack in a lot.
Like what? What's in the Swiss Army knife?
Well, you get system controls.
Brightness, volume.
Yep, right there. Super handy. Integrated notifications, music playback controls, live weather.
Weather in the notch. Okay.
Why not? And it also has a file drop zone, similar in concept to Nook's tray. It really tries to cover a lot of bases.
Wow, that is a laundry list. It sounds like it's trying to be the one-stop shop.
It absolutely is, which naturally leads to the next question.
Performance with all that going on.
Exactly. And this is where the research points out its main drawback. Apparently, it can be a little boggy at times.
So maybe not always perfectly smooth.
That seems to be the trade-off. You get this huge feature set, but maybe at the cost of some occasional lag or performance hiccups. It's that classic software dilemma, right? Features versus polish.
Right. More stuff sometimes means, well, more stuff to potentially slow things down.
And different users prioritize differently. Some will happily take all the features, even with a few bumps.
Okay, that's important to know. What about the price for DynamicLake?
It's generally around $17. And the sources mention it's often discounted.
So quite a bit cheaper than Notch Nuke's one-time price.
Yeah, which positions it as offering potentially the most variety for your money if features are your main metric.
Provided you can live with it being occasionally boggy.
Right. So summing it up, DynamicLake is likely for users who want all the features in one place, but, just be aware, watch for bugs or slowdowns. It's the feature maximizer's choice.
Okay, so we have the customizer's dream with Notch Nuke and the feature-packed, maybe slightly imperfect option with DynamicLake.
Yeah.
What's the third way?
Well, what if your priority isn't tons of options or max features, but more about elegance? Integration.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
That leads us to Alcove.
Exactly. The research calls this one the sleekest and most polished of the three. It takes a very different approach.
How so? What makes it sleek?
Its whole philosophy seems to be making it feel native to macOS, like it belongs there. It focuses on buttery smooth animations and an aesthetic that just blends right in.
So less like a third-party add-on, more like an extension of the OS itself.
That's the goal, yeah. That seamless integration is its key selling point.
And what features does it offer? Still useful stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely practical. It has a built-in music player, live notifications that are apparently quite elegant, and system hotkeys. Things that feel natural to have quick access to.
But maybe not quite as many bells and whistles as DynamicLake.
Correct. The research does acknowledge it offers fewer features for now. Quality over quantity seems to be the mantra.
For now. Does that mean it's still evolving?
That's the interesting part. It emphasizes that the developer is pushing updates fast, which suggests, a strong roadmap.
So you're getting something stable and polished now, with the promise of more later.
Seems like it. You're buying into an experience that's already smooth but is actively growing, rather than something that throws everything in up front but might be less refined.
And a cost for Alcove. How does it compare?
It's listed at $16.99.
Oh, okay. So right there with DynamicLake price-wise, one of the cheaper options then.
Exactly. Which makes it pretty compelling if that smooth native feel is what you're after.
So putting it all together for Alcove.
It really seems like the go-to if you value stability and design polish over sheer volume of features. Best for that smooth native feeling performance.
The choice for someone who wants it to just work beautifully and feel like part of the system.
Precisely. The elegant, reliable option. Less is more. Done well.
Okay, so we've broken down Notch Nuke, DynamicLake, and Alcove. Let's zoom out. What does this all mean for you, the listener? How do you pick?
Yeah, it really boils down to your own style, doesn't it? We can maybe think about 3 kinds of users.
Archetypes?
Sort of. First, are you the tinkerer? You love digging in, customizing every little thing, fine-tuning your setup.
Then Notch Nuke is probably your best bet. That deep control.
Exactly. Then, maybe you're the maximizer. You just want the most features possible crammed into that space. You want the Notch to do everything.
That sounds like DynamicLake.
Yeah.
Even with the potential bogginess.
Right. You get the most functions, the biggest toolkit, and third, maybe you're the purist. You value smoothness, elegance, stability. You want it to feel like Apple designed it themselves.
That's Alcove. Polished, native feeling, stable.
That's the framework. Tinkerer, maximizer, or purist. Which one sounds most like you?
It's pretty amazing, though, that all 3 managed to take this thing, the Notch, which some people really disliked.
Yeah, saw it as a design flaw almost.
And they turn it into something genuinely useful, a functional space. It completely reframes it.
It really does. And it was interesting, the original reviewer whose work we looked at, they shared their personal pick.
Oh, yeah. Which one did they lean towards?
They said they'd go for Alcove, mostly for the aesthetics, the smooth feel, and the handy system controls it offered.
Interesting. But that really drives home the point, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It underscores that there's no single best app here.
Yeah.
It's totally subjective. It depends entirely on what you need, what you prioritize.
Deep control, sheer number of features, or that seamless, polished experience.
You got to know what matters most to you. That's how you find your ideal fit.
It's just cool seeing that little black bar become, a personalized command center. These apps really show how you can take a limitation and make it an advantage.
Yeah, turning something static into something interactive and genuinely helpful, enhancing how we use these devices every day.
Definitely.
And, thinking about it, this whole exercise leaves us with a kind of provocative thought, doesn't it?
Ooh, what's that?
Well, these apps show how even a small, maybe overlooked design element like the Notch can be totally reimagined, given new life, new utility.
Right.
So it makes you wonder, what other seemingly static or like dead spaces are out there in our software, our phones, maybe even our physical spaces.
Hmm. Space is just waiting for the right idea.
Exactly, waiting for the right tool or just a different perspective to unlock some hidden potential we haven't even thought of yet.
That is a compelling question to think about. What else could be
Um,
transformed? Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into making the MacBook Notch dynamic.
Hope it was useful.
We definitely encourage you to check these out if you're curious and find the right fit for your Mac. We'll catch you next time.